What's up, whiskey lovers, and welcome to another episode of Whiskey Straight with me, Big Al. And yes, as you know, I'm back off across the pond. It's time for another bourbon, and it is a Knob Creek 9. In 2016, Beam Suntory dropped the 9-year-old age statement and just said small batch. And while it still says small batch, they've brought the 9 back. It was taken away initially because of inventory issues. They didn't have enough of the juice to keep up with demand. And if you're a whisky nerd, a whisky enthusiast like me, you like to see the age statements. So it's great that this was brought back. And what's even better about it is it's now available over here. Normally retails at 35 quid. But yes, you've guessed it. Big Al here got it on Amazon on a bargain at 25 quid. And the last time I checked, it's still on offer there. So go check it out. So as well as the age statement coming back, what's nice is they've changed the bottle again. It's a very nice, sexy bottle. Very lovely bottle, but it's not so much what the bottle's like, it's what's inside it. So, as always was the case, it's 100 proof. Nice, sweet spot. And the mash bill is 75% corn, 13% rye, and 12% malted barley. Now, as many of you will probably know, especially if you're from across the pond, there is a special link to this Knob Creek with Abraham Lincoln. His family had a 30-acre farm in Knob Creek when, well, the future then president was between 2.5 and 8 years old. During his childhood there, the young whippersnapper Abraham Lincoln was involved in something that could have changed the outcome of history, could have changed what we're experiencing today.
And you know what, maybe that wouldn't have been a bad thing.
One day, he fell into the creek and it was swollen. And he wasn't a good swimmer. But one of his mates, a guy called Austin Gollaher, went in after him, saved him, plucked him out. As you know, Lincoln famously went on to become the 16th president of the US. He led the country through some turbulent times, civil war and all that. But unfortunately, he had a first. And that first was, he was the first president of the US, the first of 4 to be assassinated. And that happened when he was in the Ford Theatre in Washington, DC, watching a play. And it was John Wilkes Booth that came up behind him and popped a few into his head. That sucks.
Hasta la vista, baby.
So, as always, if you've got a pour of this beautiful Knob Creek 9, bring a wee drop into your glass, drink along with me, and we'll share a nice whiskey together because, as I always say, and as you know, whiskey is always better when it's shared. And we'll start in the nose. Sláinte. It's vanilla, it's caramel. Creme brulee. Oh, I do love creme brulee. It's sweet, it's spicy. And that spice is very orange oriented. There's some nutmeg, there's a wee bit of vanilla fondant in there too. And there's orange squash. And that orange squash has a wee sprinkling of peppery spice. Just to give it a wee bit of an edge, a wee bit of a bite. And it's very, very interesting on the nose. So let's get onto the palate and see if it translates the same as it does in the nose. Cheers, folks. Right off, it's very warming. And it becomes increasingly warmer as it crosses the palate. That orange spice is still there. There's oat, there's toasty vanilla, there's caramel. Indeed, there is quite the initial flavour fest. Very, very nice indeed. Now in the second sip, which is quite surprising because you normally get it in the first sip. That burst of orange and orange spice is a wee bit more vibrant. It hits a wee bit more in the mid palate. There's a wee bit more heat with it. But with that heat comes a load of flavour. Again, you've got that orange, you've got cotton candy. And one thing I wasn't expecting is a nice touch of strawberry. Nice, fresh, juicy strawberry. But again, there's that toasty oak, there's a vanilla and the caramel. And it just hits the spot and makes you feel alive. Again, there's sweet caramel. And to the extent that it's almost honey, but not honey, it's more like honey-esque. And then comes a wee sweet jab on the side of oak and a wee bit of spice again. I was going to say a punch, but it's not a punch. It's more like a jab. It's not a big smack in the back. You know what? I've had this sitting open for a while, and that's a good thing, because if you just pour a dram of this and take it straight away, it's going to be hot, hot, hot. It's going to hit you, and if you're not used to that heat, it's going to pack a punch. But if you let it sit open for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, it's going to die down, and it's just going to be a jab rather than a punch. So if you don't like your whiskey or your bourbon too hot, let it sit, let it open up, and you'll enjoy it far more. Otherwise, you might want to pop a wee bit of water in there, which is not something I do. But as I always say, you have to drink your whiskey the way you like it. Now, just following on from what I said there, the mouthfeel here is actually quite velvety in nature, and that's once you get past the heat. But again, as I say, if you let it open up and you let it sit a while, that heat will dim down a wee bit. So there's something to take account of. The finish is long, it's pleasing, it's got that nice vanilla, caramel, orange spice, creme brulee going on. It's all things I like in a bourbon. It's right there in that ballpark with Wild Turkey 101, Four Roses single barrel. For me, Wild Turkey 101 is better than this. Four Roses single barrel is better than this. But this is there in that same ballpark. They're all much of a muchness. So, in terms of a score, I would have to give this an 87. You know, I would still buy it all day long at 35 quid. If you get it at 25 quid, it's a buy all day long. Like I actually got another bottle this week. You know, 25 quid is a fucking steal. And you know what? It just brings me back to the nice bourbons that really got me into whiskey. Let me know what your thoughts are. Put your comments in down below. It's been great to have the pleasure of your company again. I appreciate all your support. And as I say, thanks for hanging out. Please look after yourselves, look after each other, and until the next time, keep on drinking your whiskey the way you like it. Sláinte. Thanks for watching, folks. I really do appreciate it. Please check out these other reviews, and if you'd like to support the channel, the best way is by subscribing, liking and commenting. And don't forget to ring that bell for all video notifications so you don't miss out on any future content. Cheers.